hit the camp hard.
It's a good place for an ambush. Keep your guard up.
And you're using really little extra just to keep your strength because it took a minute to get this thing. And give me. Oh, baby, I need to show you this. Man, Replica's fucking Batman. He just laid out why exorcists are able to make demons tell the truth. Dude, man, he is the fucking superhero. He laid out in the church's actual exorcism literature what part is the part that grabs the demon by the throat and compels them to tell the truth. Like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. This is the coolest shit ever. This is literally hearing the Avengers talk about the protocol.
You know, Father, during the conversation between Jimmy Aiken and Fred Horn, they were talking about 1 John chapter 4, verse 1, about testing the spirits. Well, we're supposed to test them, meaning the spirits, and find out whether they're being truthful or not. So we're not supposed to run away from spirits. We're not supposed to refuse to talk to them. We're supposed to test them. And if you get evidence that you're talking to a demon, well, then you want to sever contact. Father, how would you interpret 1 John 4, 1 for us lay Catholics? What does it mean to test the spirits?
Well, the first thing I would start out with, I mean, this is, you'll have to give me an indulgence because I'm going to give you somewhat of a long answer. The first thing I would tell people is what St. John of the Cross says, you ignore all that stuff. You know, if it's some spirit who's talking to you, you ignore all of it. Because if it's from God, It doesn't mean response if it's from the devil. It only gets something if you pay attention to it. So if you look at the history of, if you read like the history of the various cases of possession that have ever occurred, there's only been a couple of times have exorcists actually asked a spirit to do something in order to test them. The testing is not seeing what they're going to do. The testing is watching their behavior and how they're impacting you. And so you take the church's objective criteria that's been laid out by the saints over the course of history to determine the effects of what this demon is doing or this spirit is doing, etc. And so it's not a matter of talking to them. You never want to get into it because demons are far more intelligent than us, and they'll suck you down a rabbit hole and make you think, because I get this all the time, that people actually think, oh, well, it's Jesus talking to you. No, it's not. You know, etc. And so I tell people you don't want to test them in the sense of engaging with them. What you want to do is you have the entire spiritual tradition has always said that the way you test them is by looking at the effects of what they've said and done, and that's why. So you're not engaging them directly, and so you're just analyzing it that way. So I think that the other thing is too is that there is, and this is something which you kind of get from time to time, which you and I, Jesse, have talked quite about. They'll say something to the effect of, well, there's no ritual, there's nothing in the church's ritual that compels a demon to tell the truth. That is completely contrary to the truth. In fact, if you actually look at, the people who say that, I'm not convinced they've actually read chapter 2 or chapter 1 or chapter 2 of Title 12 of the Rituale, even though they say it's not that, it's not in that ritual yet. It actually is. If you read it, if it comes out, there are specific things that give you an indicator of that. They haven't read that. They haven't read the approved authors that talk about what the ritual actually talks about. They haven't read even any of the modern authors like Amorth and people like that. They have not read my book where I lay the whole thing out regarding that based upon the tradition. And they've never sat through a solemn section, and yet they're waxing poetically on something. That just boggles my mind that you literally have, as you would say, somebody who's completely out of their lane. But it's another one of those things that when people study it in depth, they really don't understand. I'm just going to read you a couple of things just to be really quick about this, because this is a really important topic, because I get beat up about this all the time.
Well, take your time.
Yeah, okay, because I get beat up by saying that, listen. So in chapter 1 of Title 12 of the 1962 Rituale Romana, so this is the church herself telling you what to do. He said, this is in paragraph 5 of chapter 1. He will be on his guard against the arts and subterfuges which the evil spirits are wont to use in deceiving the exorcist. For oftentimes they give deceitful answers and make difficult to understand them. Okay, so the ritual doesn't say that they always do that. They said that they're wont to use, they oftentimes will give you a deceitful answer. There are actual times where the demons will tell you the truth because they know either you don't have a clue what it means, or it's mental reservation. They are masters of mental reservation. I'll get to that here in a minute. Then paragraph 8, some reveal a crime. So this is the church telling us. This is what the demons are going to do. Some reveal a crime which has been committed, and the perpetrators thereof, as well as the means of putting an end to it. This is key, because a lot of times what you're trying to find out is, what do I got to do to get you out? That's the main piece of information that the demons eventually will have to tell you the truth about, because if they never do, you're not going to get them out, generally speaking. So, but this is an indicator the church is going to tell you, hey, be aware of the fact that they're going to tell you the truth about things that have been done that are evil and their ongoing effects and things of that sort. Paragraph 14. The exorcist must not be dressed into senseless prattle or superfluous questions or such as are prompted by curiosity, particularly if they pertain to future and hidden matters, all of which have nothing to do with his office. Instead, this is the church talking, he will bid the unclean spirit to keep silence and answer only when asked. Now, if they will never tell you the truth, the church would never tell you to ask a question. But here they're telling you that that the exorcist does have the authority to command the demon to actually tell the truth. But sometimes it takes time. Paragraph 15. But necessarily questions are, for example, so this is what the churches are telling the exorcist. This is what you are to ask the demons of. And if the demons always lie, then they can tell you, don't do this. So For example, so this is what the church says, by necessary questions are understood, this is paragraph 15. For example, the number and the names of the spirits inhabiting the patient, the time in which they entered him, the cause thereof, and the like. So the church is already telling you, these are the questions you need to ask, because you need to know the truth about these things in order to liberate somebody. Paragraph 20. He shall, moreover, command the devil to tell whether he is detained in the body by necromancy, by evil signs, or amulets. In other words, whether it's done by a ritual or whether it's done by some type of, like the evil eye or something like that, or whether it's done by fortuna. So that's basically what the church is actually telling me to do. So then, and here is where when they said it was not to be stated in the ritual, here is the paragraph in the ritual from itself, and section 2 of the ritual. Quote, I command you, unclean spirit, wherever you are, along with your minions, now attacking this servant of God, by the mysteries of the incarnation, passion, resurrection, ascension of our Lord Jesus Christ, by the descent of the Holy Spirit, by the coming of our Lord for judgment, that you tell me by some sign your name, the day and hour of your departure. I command you to obey me to the letter. So you do have the ability to command them to actually tell them the actual truth of it. And so this is actually in it. And the church is, it's all understood that the whole reason that you do the ritual is because you need to find the one piece of information that the demon is aware of and knows it's going to get him out. Okay.
This is why
so
he's bad.
the question, and I'll just be very brief here. The question is not whether demons tell the truth, because they lie, but they also do at times tell the truth. The question is, why do they have to tell the truth? Now, if you
He's the only
read my
person who
book,
can turn demons logical.
in there, I go into the
find out
fact
what
that
they're
the demons
trying to
have a natural law, and their nature didn't change, which means their natural inclinations are still in there. And there are times during sessions I'll actually command the demons to admit that they still have the third category of natural inclination, part of which says that God is to be obeyed. They know that. They have that inclination. It's perfectly clear in their mind. And they also have a perfect understanding of the authority structure, and therefore who has to be obeyed in that authority structure. So they know that the priest has been given authority from his bishop, who was given it to him by God through apostolic lineage. And so as a result, they know and they'll admit that they have to obey you. They want to fight it for a certain amount of time, but eventually this command in their mind that God is to be obeyed causes their will so much pain that eventually they just tell the truth in order to get out from underneath it. So it's actually the authority structure, the natural inclination. And so they know that God is giving truth in authority via the bishops, and so they know they actually have to actually obey. So then the question becomes, well, how do you discern the truth? And this is where I'll end it for this particular segment. It has to do with this. So as I already mentioned, they're masters of mental reservation, and this can be detected. So you just have to have certain filters to detect this stuff. It can be detected when the answer is too general or too vague, right? And they do this all the time. It's true. So the demon's fulfilling the commandment to tell the truth, but it's vague, and so it's true, but it's not the full information. Or when it doesn't give you the full information, then you know, okay, he's probably telling me the truth here, but he's not giving me the truth. Or they don't directly answer the question, right? Whereas if they tell you the truth, my experience is they get this kind of canned look on it, and they'll just say it's X, and they're short and brief about it. When they're lying to you, they're bad liars. It's literally like watching a 16-year-old teenage girl who's gotten caught being out at night when she wasn't supposed to. No, I wasn't out. I was over here. I was over here. They're literally behaved like that. And so when they give you a canned answer, as I mentioned, they're bad liars. But even then, you have to kind of be careful because they can kind of mimic that. So then the last principle is this. It's called the principle of coherence. And the principle of coherence basically states this, that that two truths, if two statements are true, then they're going to fit together in some way. They're not going to contradict each other. Okay, so the principle of coherence, there's two parts. The first is, if they tell you something that's contrary to the Catholic faith, and this is why I tell guys, you had better know the Catholic faith, you better know it well. It's not just enough to think you're Orthodox, you had got to know it. So, but they'll tell you things that are contrary to what the Catholic faith or the tradition has always held. And then you immediately go, okay, you're not telling the truth. The second one is, it's contrary to the dynamics of the case. And so, for example, they'll say things like, well, she has to go to Lourdes and fast on bread and water for a year. No, I already know that's not the case because God is always simple when he answers. when he liberates. It's always something simple. And so there are times when people have actually gone to done a pilgrimage and gotten liberated, but it's not that common. And it's never something that's going to be outside of a person's ability to do in order to fulfill God's requirement in order to get them out. So it depends on the dynamic of the case. They'll say things that are contradictory, and when they say things that are contradictory, you know they're not telling the truth. So between those, and as we were talking about at the beginning, a healthy skepticism, they'll tell you something, and then you test it. It's also based on the principle of coherence, or also the principle of consistency. When someone's telling the truth, they can be consistent and say the same thing over and over again, and it always lines out the same way. Whereas when they're lying, it tends to shift and change over the course of time, and demons follow that exact same pattern.
How much do some of Costco's most expensive groceries actually cost? Let's talk about that. Good morning. There is no place quite like Costco. You can pick up a world-famous hot dog and soda for $1.50, or you can take home a 6-person indoor sauna for $5,000. Or you can go out and do both. Whoa! But the reason that most people get themselves a Costco membership card is for the great deals on groceries in bulk. But it turns out, even those groceries can get crazy expensive. Now, can we figure out which is the most expensive of the bunch?
Okay, boys, go ahead and try to figure out the price of this 15.4-pound Colabat Jamon Iberico Bellota ham leg, which comes with the stand and the knife.
What?
And then place it in the corresponding
I've seen
spot.
this in very nice restaurants. You got the Iberico ham, which is a pig that has been fed only acorns its entire life. Right. They love it. Like a squirrel. And then you get. Now I would have said this thing's $1,000. I see it in a. I cut that a little bit.
The most expensive thing we have is $650.
But it is Costco.
Move out here a second. We got $80, $120, $150, $155, $300.
I mean, it comes with the stand. And its own knife. Why does it come with its own knife? I mean, you really need. You gotta have a really sharp knife. And I guess I didn't even do that great of a job on that. Yeah, you cut it real. You know what?
You want to cut it real thin.
Get yourself some of this. Mm-hmm. With some manchego cheese. Put them together. Ooh. You can probably get that at Costco too. Like, this has got to be. You would want to have a party with this? I always want to have a party with this. Food is. And you be slicing that.
And also think about all the ways you could use this stand once you finish the ham.
You could put somebody's arm in there. Shave off pieces of that. Maybe put her into that kind of thing.
I mean, next time, maybe just buy the ham.
But
there's a hole there.
I don't know.
What are you thinking, Stevie?
You could put a pool noodle in there, and it could be like a sword in the stone game for children.
Oh, yeah. This is the new piñata.
The new piñata is just a noodle.
You could slice off parts of the pool noodle and feed it to the children.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I agree with that. This has got to be either $350 or $650. Would they give us the most expensive thing to begin with? I don't know. I think that the thing is that the reason this is so expensive is because when you get this at a restaurant, like there's a Spanish restaurant.
Where'd my 1-liter go?
I mean, they'll charge you what? Costco.
I'm trying to find my 1-liter. I can't figure out where it went.
Well, for that, I don't know. Maybe that's $10 or whatever. But if you get like the Iberico ham as an appetizer, it's gonna be $40 or whatever.
Oh, there it is.
It's gonna just be like that much with some cheese. Well,
They
so
said
it's a bulk buy. They're gonna make a whole lot of money off of it.
It's not too salty either. It's very greasy though.
I just feel like we're talking. I mean, I think we're talking $650, but because it's a Costco crowd and they see a leg of ham, they might think to themselves, "Why am I going to pay almost $700 for this thing? That might be a really tough sell."
Maybe it's $150.
No, I think it's $350.
All right.
Do we put this up there, or we put the plate?
Well, for now, you can put that. You might have to move it, but let's just, there's a whole crew full of people who we should be thinking of.
I stopped watching Good Will to the Lion because I can't take it anymore. Because they Brett,
Y'all, that's what
I don't
we're
know
all
if they
having
stopped
for lunch,
both of them,
right?
but one of them stopped being
Let's
Christian.
go over there. Ham only
like,
lunch.
The only reason you stop being Christian is because all you have is the Bible and
Next
not
up,
what the
you have
apostles said
a
afterwards.
60-pound bucket of
Yeah, anything to
pure
grow.
honey.
You just had
Okay, that is a
a book. You
freaking
didn't
ton of
have
honey.
that. You had a book.
Measured in pounds.
That's the
is
problem
rest-
with
this- I mean,
Protestantism.
this
It's
is a
called the
restaurant
book
situation,
instead of the
right?
man Christ.
Or a Pooh Bear. This is a Pooh Bear situation.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to bring this amount of honey home?
To the family reunion.
And what?
You got a really big family.
Everybody's dipping out of it.
They all love honey.
There you go.
How is it?
Get you
I can, okay. I can buy one. Now, what kind of honey is it? Does it say that?
Amber. LT Amber. Lieutenant Amber honey.
Good honey.
It is very good. It contains honey from the U.S., India, and Vietnam.
It's global honey.
This is not all from one hive.
How many bees do you think contributed to this? That's not the question. Don't even think
A
about it.
bucket load of bees.
Don't hurt your brain.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, let's think about this. What's the biggest thing of honey you've ever gotten? Jesse went a little bit wild one time.
Just the one that shaped like a bear.
She got one that big. That big. Big.
And that's plenty.
And we use a lot of honey. I eat a spoonful every once in a while.
Really?
It's good for you.
But if you don't eat it too quick, it'll start to get hard and it won't come out.
I'll never let that happen. So how many of those?
This whole thing's gonna get hard.
There.
God, this is
Get hard. I mean, what are we gonna do with this?
The ham and honey lunch.
the ham.
Oh yeah, we can put the ham all the way down into
We
it.
can dump the ham into the honey.
This is obviously cheaper than the ham.
So one of these things was probably $20, and I could put
8 of them.
more. 15 of them in there. 15 times 20 is 300, but the bulk price at least reaches about 50. That's 150. We got it right there.
We got it right there.
Got it right there.
I will say you have to get at least 4 out of 6 of these correct to get the prize in the end. So
Spiel.
Are you going to tell us what we have right, or if we're?
at the end,
Is it gonna be a bucket of honey because no one else wants it?
One.
Okay, here we go. It's a two-man honey job. 3, 2.
Pure honey.
So honey is at 150, honey.
How many? 60 calories. Oh. Man, I'm glad I didn't turn the whole thing over.
1,296 servings in there. So
It'll feed 1,296 people.
Next, you have a bottle of Achataya del Cristo Black Diamond Balsamic Vinegar that has been aged for 50 years.
this is as old as we are, almost. More.
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 Black diamond. You know, that's the hardest thing to ski. Well, I guess it's double or triple.
You can't ski on vinegar. It'll melt right through the snow.
Balsamico Tradizionale.
Well, let's taste it as if that will give us anything.
You know
This with some olive oil.
This stuff can be really. Wow.
The longer it ages,
It gets licorice.
but what it does is it smooths it out so it doesn't have that like acidic bite to it. It makes it a little bit sweeter.
It's very sweet. It's very aromatic. It's like traveling out of my nose right
But it's actually less like crazy tasting
now.
than a young vinegar. I think I like a younger one better. Like put it with some olive oil.
I bet you it's more expensive than that. That would just be the way of the world.
Okay, I'm not going to disagree with you on that, but I think they're close. So I think that this is right. Yeah. So this we're calling the balsamic 154.
We're just putting it right there because you know what we mean.
You know.
You know who we are. We're men of integrity. You're standing by our assertion that it's more expensive than that.
Now we have fresh winter white truffles.
White truffle.
Looks like a rock.
Boy, what a smell that
Quick
is strong.
strong smell.
Wow. Is white truffle more expensive than black truffle? I can't remember which one is more expensive.
I see black truffle more on the menus. right? White truffle. I mean, so they've shaved this for us, should we? We're not strong.
Typically, one at home. Like
Oh. I just wiped the ham with
Can you
it.
bring that ham back in here?
Ham and truffle?
Ham and truffle. And honey? You want to bring the honey back in too? You want to
Oh.
just stop this episode and just do whatever you want to do? I'm not crazy.
This is not as pungent as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have truffle boil, that stuff is like balsamic. But this, it actually tastes more like mushroom than what I think of truffle. It's got more of a mushroomy taste.
It's known for being expensive.
I know that they got pigs digging this stuff up.
The pigs that made this find this.
No, because then they would eat that. They can only eat acorns.
Well, what are we going to do now?
Not gonna happen. Honey never spoils. What I was told under the round card.
But it is best by.
2027.
I have doubts about the placement of the balsamic vinegar. The 50-year thing is really, I don't know. It's like, I know it's a long time, but it's not that much vinegar. So let's leave it there.
There's entire stores that are dedicated to selling this stuff. You know?
Oh, 50 years. I think it's expensive. I'm just saying I don't know. I mean, truffles. This is just 4 truffles.
Like,
2 ounces worth of white truffle.
Is it less than the honey? Should we move the honey?
I think we moved the honey to $120.
Yeah.
Because the reason that people don't get this is because who wants a bucket of honey? You know, who needs a bucket of honey? Even if you run a camp, you don't need that much honey.
You may know, hopefully, if not, you should know, that over on the Mythical Society, we have a sub-series that's TTRPG.
What does that mean, Link?
And that means tabletop role-play game. And the series is called Roll for Mythicality. Episode 3 is out now. Each one is a standalone one-shot. This was called Ticket to Dive.
Get it?
It is a magical murder mystery set aboard a moving train. So you can watch Trevor, Michaela, Chase, and Julian get deep into their roles as they play. Things go also raves. Check it out, mythicalsociety.com. So much fun.
Okay, these are Prince of Peace ginseng root slices, and they're pretty bitter raw. So the ones you have there are bland, which I'm told is also not great, but you can eat them. And then we made a tea. That would be the best.
I'm going tea. Based on my buddy's reaction, I'm going to drink the tea.
Oh, that is that's a squirrely root.
Is this supposed to make you viral?
I've dined upon a squirrely root. Are you talking about like get a lot of views, or like,
Hey, I'm just trying to go viral.
or are you talking about not have a virus?
Is this going to make me go viral?
You're gonna get a virus? Is it antiviral?
VIRILP. Is it viral?
Viral. This is supposed to make you
Feral.
This is supposed to increase your ability to make babies?
I don't know. I'm just asking, what is the ginseng for?
Nobody knows.
I think it's for your immune system.
It's like gingers for you and you.
Okay, no magical powers. Okay, got it.
Certified 100% Wisconsin American ginseng.
Wisconsin? Come on. Nothing expensive comes from Wisconsin.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, we love y'all.
Everything's
We love
affordable and approachable
Milwaukee,
in Wisconsin.
one of the best cities in the world.
You just stand there drinking beer, watching the boats go by.
There's a river. It's beautiful.
It does say it's for improving energy and stamina and enhancing sexual function.
Oh, hey,
So,
I knew I was going to go viral.
Yeah. Immune system is actually like at the
Viral.
bottom of the list.
Beautiful.
I know the virus is funnier.
Okay.
It's the cheapest thing, like.
Why wouldn't it be? I mean, it's grown in Wisconsin. It's not like it's shipped from another country.
They got so much room out there. They got so much room out there.
They got hills. There's more room because the land goes up and down. It's not just flat.
Wisconsin is a flat.
Wisconsin. If you were to pull Wisconsin flat, it would be as big as Texas.
That's not. Wisconsin isn't known for its mountains.
hills.
Is it known for its hills?
There's rolling hills. Yes.
How rolling?
They call them dells.
Well, I don't know. I've only been to
Just
Milwaukee.
took a whole Xanax.
Well, I've been there.
Did you take a trip to the countryside?
Yeah, I took a blind woman there.
I remember that. And you had to describe the
Just
landscape.
stressed out.
Yeah, and I said, if you pull this talk, it's the biggest Texas. And she believed me.
He did take a blind woman through Wisconsin. That is not a joke. If it was a joke, he would be in poor taste.
Well, there's
Tired of not
It's just
being
a fact.
okay. I'm tired of being
I don't know what
in
part
a
of it is-
set where I
is,
can't just sit there and be like,
There is no part of it that's
I'm
funny.
okay.
well, I would say it was a little funny in that, like, oh, that's an interesting
nothing
thing
else
to
I
have
have to
done,
think
or
about.
at least to say that you did.
To give a blind woman a tour of Wisconsin. Not something I can say.
There's something
Well,
that
hopefully
just
one
back
day,
up
You know what was the
and
first thing we did when we got off the plane? Went to a petting zoo.
trying not to think about my car,
I'm not going to say anything.
but I'm thinking about my car.
You got it?
In the house.
And then I started falling asleep while driving. Okay, yeah. Because I was so sleepy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, as a matter of fact, that's why we went to the petting zoo. Because I was driving across Wisconsin
You
with
got to get a goat to wake you up.
and she, she couldn't tell I was falling asleep, right?
But you could probably feel
She's like,
sudden correction.
why do you keep hitting the rumble strips?
Yeah.
I was like, listen, how do you feel about stopping at this petting zoo? Because I needed to drink like some caffeine. And I was like, good God, I have to stop here
I
in the middle
wonder
of
if there were
nowhere. So we
people
stopped
back in
at
the
petting
day.
zoo so that I could wake up and not
He
kill
was
this blind
part of the
woman.
incarnation.
Okay, so she wasn't asking for a petting zoo.
No, she
What I
wasn't.
thought.
She was not asking for a
I
petting
wonder if there were people back in the day that knew about like how like humanity had been put underneath Satan, and that's how it was in the Old Testament. Like people in the Old Testament were sitting there looking out the window, just sitting there looking out, just being like,
This one, it's a little bit of a surprise. You asked for something earlier in the episode that you wanted
yeah,
with the jam. Do you remember what you asked for? Okay,
get it.
let's bring up my line here. You asked for a specific cheese, though,
I asked for manchego.
and you have manchego.
I mean that manchego? Are you serious?
It is
Bring in the ham.
7-pound
It's
meal
like-
of
it's
Don
literally
Juan
like
cheese
Elden Ring
that
would have been
you
peaceful.
eat for 4 months.
And look,
Specific.
except
Here's the
original sin.
No. Here, get you a thin slice of pie.
We're making it look really good.
Oh God, this is so good. And this is what it needed. It needed the manchego. We are living the highlight here. Sometimes a man needs his chicken in the Costco parking lot. Man, you set up.
I should keep deleting my playlist.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna restart my phone. I'm tired of this. It's starting to delete my playlist, my queue on like YouTube when I have things like queued up to play. I didn't queue up Good Mythical Morning. I queued up like Armor of God. Really bad. My head hurts. When I just want to be okay. Everything off right now. What everyone else is doing, and looking around doing different things. Yes. Everything so much. This is the only thing. These things like. I love you, baby.
How's for you?
You're so beautiful.
I'm just. Where we at? We don't need extremes. We don't need unnecessary. Here, their family, each other. This is the
Oh, wow. It's also been a good minute since I took a Zofran. That could also be a thing.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Everything Happened. And as always, I hope all of you are going to learn so much from this one. It's going to be one long clip on the fall of the angels, and I'm sure you're going to learn a lot from this. Listen to this.
Let's go to the first moment when God revealed himself to the angels. Okay? God's first revelation to creation, as far as we know, occurred when he revealed himself to Lucifer and to all the angels underneath him. You see, in heaven there are 9 choirs of angels. At the top, of course, we have the seraphs, and these are the highest angels, of which Lucifer was the head. And we know that after Lucifer failed the test of loyalty to God, and therefore failed to inherit the beatific vision, God had an inferior angel defeat him, namely Saint Michael, who was an archangel. When God first revealed himself to the angels, including Lucifer, he informed them of his love through infused knowledge, of all that which he would entrust to them, in particular to Lucifer, and of his plan to incarnate the second person of the Trinity within not an angelic nature, but a human nature. And this Lucifer could not stomach. You see, Lucifer, with infused knowledge, was the most informed creature of the universe, of both the material and spiritual orders. God so loved Lucifer that he gave him the name, morning shining star. And to Lucifer, according to the writings of Appius, who was a listener to St. John the Apostle and an instructor to St. Irenaeus, God entrusted to Lucifer the entire material order.
Hey, baby. According to this, St. John said this, that Lucifer was given control over the whole material order before the fall.
Yeah.
Like John the Apostle.
Okay.
It's crazy. We have so much, like, documentation to prove this stuff. It's just like people looking into, like, government conspiracies back in the day and trying to prove shit, man. This is real cool.
The whole cosmos was given to Lucifer. And maybe this is why in the New Testament Jesus refers to him as, St. John refers to him as, and St. Paul refers to Lucifer as,
The Prince
the prince of this earth, the prince of the powers of the air.
Somehow Lucifer has dominion over creation. Where did he get it from? If not from God's first revelation to creation in Lucifer, when he told him these things, that Lucifer would exert mastery over the cosmos. And this makes sense because when Lucifer fell, a third of the stars fell with him, which suggests that Lucifer had authority and association with creation. The stars are part of creation. You know, the Bible does not say that a third of the angels fell. This teaching comes from the church fathers, who properly interpreted the scriptures to indicate that when the angels fell, they were in number a third of the entire heavenly court. But this fall was not limited to the angels. It impacted the stars, which are physical, shining luminaries. What is our star of our solar system? The sun. But not all stars fell. 2/3 remained intact, 1/3 fell, but 1/3 of the angels with the stars fell as well. And this perhaps explains why Lucifer was able to enter something so sacred and pristine as the unblemished Garden of Eden after he had fallen. He had authority over all creation, including Eden. Even though he fell, he retained his authority. You see, God never takes away his gift. This is a teaching also of the church fathers. And therefore, if someone rebels against God, like Lucifer or Judas, God keeps the gifts he gave them. And not only does he keep them intact within the person who has fallen, but he has ordained, knowing full well that they would betray him, that he should impart these gifts to them. This is part of God's incomprehensible wisdom, unscrutable wisdom. We don't understand. Why would God give Judas Iscariot the office of presbyter and episcopacy, knowing he would betray both? Why would God make him an apostle, knowing he would betray both and be lost? Did not Jesus say, better for him never to have been born? Why would God entrust to Lucifer such power and authority over the entire cosmos, knowing he would fall with 1/3 of the angels and stars? These are things that the finite human mind cannot fully comprehend. You see, no human mind, not even the greatest, can fully comprehend God's revelation to man. We can understand something of God's revelation to man, but never exhaust full understanding of this mystery of God's self-revelation.
Thank you.
That's why we call God's self-revelation a mystery in many respects. And the teachings of the faith mysteries, like the Trinity and the transubstantiation of Christ, and the hypostatic union, and the incarnation, and so forth, and the Immaculate Conception. And now, God's self-revelation in the beginning to Lucifer and to the angels was too much for Satan, in the sense that God wanted to assume a human nature, not a divine, an angelic nature, not a divine, an angelic nature, okay? Now, why was this too much for Lucifer to stomach? Well, because the angels are far superior to man intellectually, and they far surpass the intellectual prowess of man, that for Lucifer to accept God becoming a man would be for Lucifer to accept the fact that he would have to serve an inferior intellectual being, namely human being. To better understand God's revelation to Lucifer of this truth, think of God telling the human race, including the Pope and the bishops, that from this day forth you will all serve dogs. You will surpass them intellectually by large scale, but you will have to serve them. Well, I hate to say this to many people listening, but this is already the case. Just go to Los Angeles. You'll see people serving dogs all the time, carrying them in their strollers, the dogs leading them, cleaning up after the dog. I mean, who's serving who? But apart from the human, this would be the equivalent of, I would think, of God telling Lucifer that he would have to serve man. It would be for us to serve the dog for the rest of our life. What would your reaction be, right? This makes no sense. But if this is what God asks, much like he asked Abraham to offer up his son Isaac, right? If we trust God knowing that God is infallible. God never makes mistakes. And we don't rationally comprehend this that God asks of us. We in humility welcome it.
Oh God, you're
Knowing
still
there's a
alive.
bigger plan that we don't fully understand.
What did the Geth
One
do to
day
them?
Father Pio was asked by an atheist, an agnostic, but an atheist. I think it was an agnostic actually. And the difference between them is that we believe God in everything else. Acknowledges that there is a God, but does not feel any personal responsibility, or moral responsibility to the whole of life. And Padre, he asked Padre Pio, how could there be a God when the world makes no sense? There's killing, there's genocide, there's war, there's starvation, and God just doesn't seem to care. And Padre Pio replied, the way we understand God and his interventions and revelations in human history is the same way in which a young boy understands a mother's needlework while sitting at her feet and looking at the canvas from underneath. As the child looks at the canvas from below, what does he see but yarns hanging in disarrayed and confused fashion that appear to be total chaos? And he says to the mother, what are you doing? You're sitting there for hours on that rocking chair sewing and looking the canvas, the needlepoint, and all I see is a disarray of yarn. And she smiles and turns around the canvas and he sees this lovely animal. Similarly, God does not show us, much like a mother does not show the child the final part of the canvas of that needlepoint. But
Don't worry,
showing them only
Thank you. I
that
think we'll be
which
okay
they can
now.
perceive
You're
from
Dr.
below.
Warren, the one
It is only in
when
the
the
next
attack
life that we come to the great understanding
Williams, take us
of
to
why
the
God
Hush.
permitted certain evils, why God gave
Yes? Is
certain
there
gifts
something
to
you
people
need?
that would abuse them, like
Did you notice a
musical
Turian in
instruments,
the area?
and why
That's
God
impossible.
allows the
I'm sorry.
dawn to grow
Manuel's
with
still a bit uncertain. We
until
could
the
hear
day
the
of
battle
harvest.
outside. Gun.
Humility,
Manuel,
intellectual
please. This
humility,
isn't
is essential to understanding not only sacred scripture, which is couched in allegories and parables and symbols, especially the book of Revelation and Canticle of Canticles. Lucifer rebelled because not only did he not want to serve a less endowed intellectual creature, namely humans. By the way, the letter to the Hebrews states that we do not serve angels, angels serve us. And Paul adds that in the end we will judge angels, therefore buttressing the truth that angels, although intellectually superior to us, are inferior in nobility to us by virtue of the incarnation of Christ in human nature.